right, right. I did some riding.
Was it fun?
It was. It was. It brought up a lot of questions for me, though. I was working on one of the tie-in, or is that what we want to call it? Yeah, Derelict Saga tie-in story. And I managed to get through like 3,500 words. And I went, wait a minute. I had started this part way too early. And I went, okay, fine. Let's just pretend like we already had that warm up and we've given that. Just keep going. So I just kept going. And then there's a couple scenes that are really, really light. I'm going to have to go back and repair them and make them better. But it didn't stop me from writing the rest of it. I didn't sit there and get vapor locked and sit there and go, I don't know what to do because I have to go back and fix this. I just said, fuck it, and kept moving. I thought you would be very proud of that.
I think it's a very good thing. I'm not being sarcastic. I think that the ability to move past saying, I don't know this thing and write it out and go back and fix it in post is an advanced writing technique that everyone should know how to do, whether they choose to use it or not.
Yeah, and this wasn't even that. It was more along the lines of somebody asked one of the characters a question, and the way the character responded to it, I didn't expect, if you know what I mean. And
that's where you stop typing and you go, the fuck did you just say?
And I sat there and I went, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense, but that's going to start this chain. And I went, okay, fuck it. Let's follow this chain. This is too early to reveal this, too early to have this happen, but let's go ahead and follow it. And so I purposely left a blank space of, hey, there's some shit that needs to go here.
Insert big explosions here.
Yeah, insert big explosions here. And just kind of went with it. And I've got a couple of problems I'm going to have to deal with, temporal problems. I can't explain this without giving anything away. So I'll just say
that anything away. We just understand that you've got there's some time juggling that has to happen.
There's some time juggling that has to happen. And one part of the story is going to take place. And then there's going to be a jump. There'll have to be a jump before the rest of the story takes place. But I think it'll be cool.
Right now, all I can see is Chief O'Brien going, I hate temporal mechanics.
Fortunately, I don't have to deal with fucking time travel, okay? Fortunately, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that. Although some smartass is going to say, well, since all these things are moving while they're moving away and far from almost the speed of light or whatever, doesn't that affect how everybody sees one another and when the timing is and this, that, and the other? I don't care. Don't want to deal with it. Gives me a headache. Fuck off.
This is totally unrelated to that. Really, just it's one of those little hop, skip, and jump of science things. I'll have to send you the article, but this was something that said, what if at the center of our galaxy, we don't have a gigantic black hole? What if it's something else?
Mm.
And their supposition was, instead of being a supermassive black hole, there's a cloud of dark matter. Because they're seeing some odd behavior in the orbital mechanics of the stars closest to Sagittarius A.
That violate the concept of a black hole?
That don't behave the way they expect something would behave at the cusp of a black hole. And so someone put forward the theory that maybe we don't have a black hole at the center of our universe. We can't see it because it's clouded by dust. So we can track the stars moving around it, but we really can't see physically what's going on in there.
Gotcha.
And so this person submitted the idea that maybe there is a tremendous cloud of dark matter that's in there, but it hasn't reached the point where it would congeal into being a supermassive black hole yet. Maybe that's how supermassive black holes formed, by dark matter as opposed to eating up 500 billion suns. And I thought, I've never even heard that idea before, but it's an amazing, thought-provoking article.
Oh my God, Terry motherfucker. Where did you see that?
Let me see if I can find it.
Find it, please. Please.
It was a great article.
Shit.
It was a tremendous. I love reading science articles, and I'm always posting them to Facebook because they are just amazing.
Yeah.
And they always spark ideas in me. I'm like, can I use that?
You have no idea what you just gave me.
There's
no idea what you've just
I'm that guy that just keeps coming up with these ideas that just derail everything you're doing.
It's just as simple as it's just, okay, well, if you read the Derelict Saga, there's a lot of stuff about dark matter references. This is huge for me, actually. I had not seen this. Well, it gives me ideas for what things might look like in other galaxies or other solar systems. That's a really, really cool concept. So does that mean it's spewing out dark matter?
No, it means that the gravity has collected a tremendous amount of dark matter, but it hasn't reached critical mass to collapse into a black hole.
Okay. So that means now, by that theory, there are two ways to create a black hole.
Well, they submit that supermassive black holes are different than regular black holes.
So
because supermassive black holes appeared early in the universe when there should not have been enough suns to generate that level of mass.
Okay.
And
okay,
so
I gotcha.
The supposition here is that's because they were formed by dark matter.
All right, that makes sense to me. Okay, cool. I like it.
Even if it doesn't end up being true, we're science fiction writers. We can put anything we like out there as fact.
I'm seeing more and more of this stuff about, aliens are really real. They're starting to admit this shit. And it's like, oh, Christ. You're fucking up everything for me.
Oh, there's
fucking up everything for me.
There's a meme that went around for a while that NASA says you may not be able to bone aliens. You remember that one?
He says you might not be able to bone aliens.
And I saw one of the variants of that recently that had some guy at the bottom of the thing saying, yeah, not with that attitude, you won't.
Jesus Christ. That gave me so many foul ideas. I don't even want to go there. That's just wrong. You hear me? That shit ain't right. Aliens are going to put us out of business.
Well, that's because you're not boning them, apparently.
I'd have thought they had better taste, to be honest. I
don't know, man. I don't know. Considering some of the people that they've kidnapped to probe, I'm not going to go ahead and make any judgment on their taste.
Here's the thing. Okay, fine. So
I was kidnapped by them there aliens when I was having my 6-pack, and then they went ahead and probed me.
Okay, Randy Quaid. See, he wasn't playing a character in that film. That was really him.
That's pretty much Randy Quaid.
They just changed it and gave it a name of the character.
He just wandered onto the set and they just started filming. He wasn't actually paid to be in that movie. He just was there.
He just was there. I like that. But really though, think about that. I mean, it is an interesting conundrum, isn't it? For us, just slightly.
Are we still talking about aliens probing us, or are we moving
aliens in general? Else? Aliens in general arriving and saying, "Don't take us to your leader; they're fools. Take us to your creatives."
That would be a much more rational approach.
Yeah, take us to your scientists. Take us to your leaders. Take us to or not to your leaders, to your scientists, artists, and philosophers. Go grab those people. Fuck anything else.
I'll just take them to my cats.
Oh, God, no. What if they're really here for the cats and it's nothing to do with us?
It's like when the aliens are threatening to destroy the Earth because of the whales. Thanks, Star Trek.
Yeah, thanks, Star Trek, you fuckers. No, imagine the aliens come in, they're like, yeah, and we're like, hey, we would like the technology transfer. No.
Oh, look, the whales in the ocean are talking to this alien in space. How does that work? Sound doesn't go that far. Don't ignore this. Ignore this.
Ignore the hand waving. Insert hand waving here. Different oscillation, dark matter frequency in the ocean. Yes, in the ocean. Ignore because it was Tuesday. All right, fuck off. What are you going to do if you ever get one of those situations where you're at a fan con or whatever, and some attentive reader stalks you into a corner? What are you going to say? What are you going to say?
I'll say the same thing I would say, anywhere else. I just make this shit up as I go along. Sometimes I paint myself into a corner. Most people don't notice when I, tiptoe my way back out again. Congratulations, you spotted it. You are the winner.
We had one of those moments where my dad finished Trident and we're at lunch and he says, how did you plant stuff in book 1 that you knew you were going to use in book 5?
I can answer that without even knowing what you're going to say. You had no clue. You just put it there. And as you're writing book 5, you go, hey, that thing I wrote in book 1, that's useful.
Pretty much describes 486,000 words in a nutshell. Yeah. So plotters.
I can't begin to tell you how often I do that. I drop hooks everywhere.
Yeah, and we both do, and you can see it. A lot of other authors do it too. It depends also what they're writing, right? If it's meant to be from the very get-go a series, or if it was holy shit, this book did great, I guess I better write another one with that same character, kind of deal. It kind of shifts a little bit.
Well,
I think it depends.
An interesting way, normally I'm not cognizant of the fact that I'm dropping a hook because I don't really see the implications of some of the things that I'm doing until I get further along. I've been writing some of the episodes for the serial, the Lit RPG serial, and I just wrote episode 7 today. And one of the things that I did a couple of episodes back, I realized is actually going to prevent the hero from doing what he wants to do until he's a lot more powerful.
Mm.
I did it for one reason in the story. And then after it was done, I said, yeah, that's going to handicap his butt later on real bad.
Yeah. And you're like, yes, I found some kryptonite.
Sometimes you got to draw things out. If somebody can reattain power too quickly, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You got to throw some obstacles in their way.
I love how in the Harry Potter movies, in order to completely decapitate Ron's ability to do anything, they give him a broken wand at the very beginning of the book. And he's fucked the entire rest of the book because his wand is busted. Until the end when it saves everybody's ass because somebody mistakenly picks it up and tries to use it. And it's little shit like that you sit there and you wonder, did the author really have that at the beginning, or did they really have that idea at the beginning, or is that just a result?
Now, I believe that was probably introduced to make him kind of an ineffectual and humorous character. And then
I think so too.
When everything is closing up, they go, well, I need to have, something go seriously wrong for someone right here. What can I use? Reach around. Oh, I could use this thing over here and that'll pay off something that I put in the first book. Thank God I put that in there.
Yeah. That's pretty much how Trident was when I was closing it up. It was basically like, holy shit, I planted that. I can use it now. I can use this. I forgot I even planted those fucking things or why they were there to begin with. I kept calling attention to them and didn't know what they were for. And then, bang.
There are sometimes when I get readers saying, so what about this thing you introduced way back in the book here? Whatever happened with that? I don't ever say that, but that's a hook that never played out.
Right. It was something you thought might be cool, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. The problem is that as a discovery writer, the story will meander in the direction it wants to go, and sometimes it walks away from a plot hook.
It says, hey, wait, I got things to do. I'll be back.
I've got things to do. I'm going over here, and I'm sorry, but we're not going to be exploring that thing that you thought's pretty cool. Even though it's pretty cool, we've got other important things to do.
Yeah, we're driving along, look over to the left. What is that haunted house doing there? Man, we should really check out that thing. No, we got that thing to do. Oh, but another roadside attraction.
Go!
Well, haunted houses, it looks cool. It might even have a vending machine. No, keep going. Keep driving. That's just wrong. That shit ain't right. This shit ain't right. I just thought it was funny to bring that attention to that because I've been following your particular saga about your lit RPG book on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you got your universe kind of set up, and now you're making it go. You already started dropping chapters in Patreon.
I've dropped chapters in Patreon. I think they've got 3 chapters live now in Patreon. And at first, I didn't get any response to any of them. I'm like, it's awful damn quiet in there. And then finally somebody said, hey, I'm liking this. Oh, thank God. Thought they were like ignoring it.
I've had that moment too where I put something up there and it's like a week goes by and I'm like, okay, all right, I'll move on. No, week or two later, somebody's like, oh, I just noticed this in the feed. I'm like, oh my God. How am I supposed to tell you that I've got something new in the feed for you? I'm sorry, I can't do that. The system does that, and it already alerted you. If you didn't sign up for the alerts, I can't do anything about that.
The story, I finished up the big fight that wraps up the opening. So all of the pieces that I intend to use in the game are now actually in the game and in play.
Gotcha.
So now it's just consequences. Today was me writing a chapter that was all about consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, to figure out where the main character is, he has to have a conversation with someone to explain the facts of life to him.
Uh-oh.
It's not an awful conversation. It's just he doesn't know what's become of him. He doesn't know the events that I posted in Discord basically thrashed him. And so he doesn't know what he is anymore. And now he has to have somebody that's inside the game world explain to him, here's what happened to you. Here's what you're going to have to do. Here are the circumstances in which you find yourself. So I guess I'm still setting the table, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
But at least the big fight is over for the beginning. There's no way that he can back out now. It's done. He's committed.
Yeah. Now I'm excited. Excited to hear this. So have you already started updating the stuff in Novella?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and I just wrote episode 7 today. When I get to episode 10, I'm going to send the first 5 off to be copy edited or proofread rather.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've discovered that even today I was going back. I was about to start writing 7. I had to go back and make a couple of tweaks to 5 and 6 because I decided I needed to fine tune how something was going to work. And that's typically how it works for me when I'm writing serially. I've got to keep 2, 3, 4 chapters at hand because I need to go back and I have to manipulate things a little bit to set things up more fine-tuned for what's happening.
Right.
So by the time I finish writing episode 10, I can send episodes 1 through 5 off. And when I get them back, I'll upload them to Vela. I have found cover art.
Well, that's good.
Let me see if I can show you the cover art here, because cover art is fun. The way covers work in Vella is different. You don't have text on them. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not.
It's basically just, it takes like the circle out of the middle of an image, or out of an image anyway. So let's see.
Oh, so it's a circular crop with a fade, I'm assuming?
It's not a crop. If you go to the Vella terms of conditions, it shows a potential cover. Let me go ahead and grab one of those, and I'll post it into Discord as well, so you can see what the cover is what they envision covers looking like.
Mark Wandry's scaring me. He's still staring at me.
He should scare you, because that beard is an amazing and frightful thing.
It looks like a mop.
All right,
No,
this
it doesn't.
is part of the terms and conditions.
It looks like a deranged feather duster. That's what it looks like, or the tail of some strange animal.
Scroll down a little bit on that page, and you'll see an example of what the cover.
Okay.
See how they do those? It's just like a circle.
All right. So okay. And yet in the bottom, it shows a regular cover.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works.
So interesting. So this may be the avatar image for the book, and then there's the cover, the real cover.
It's possible, but in any case, if that's the case, I can deal with it. Here is the image I've decided to use as the cover.
Interesting.
So the key in making a cover is finding a good image that fits the genre.
Yes. So, oh my God, this is such a bastard idea. Oh, this is beyond a bastard idea. I can't imagine I'm going to bring this up or even think about it. How much of a shitbag would you be if you started 3 serials and they're all really the same story from 3 different perspectives?
I don't know how that would work out, but I don't think that's too much of a shitbag idea. Now, the real shitbag idea, and that is nobody knows that they're part of anything until they get in and they go, wait a second. This seems very familiar.
Well, I was just thinking that if you had, say, a story taking place on a space station, a story taking place on a spacecraft, and a story taking place on a planet, and all 3 are moving parts of the same general story. They're the moving parts that are turning things around, and each of those 3 things affects one another, even though they're not anywhere near physical proximity to one another.
The challenge with something like that is even more pronounced than when you're writing a novel, because you have to make sure that they come to light, that they're released around the same time, because timing becomes very important with a serial.
Right. And then if you wanted to get everybody involved, you'd have to time the episodes between all 3 of them to get people to jump around. It just seems like a shitbag idea.
It's like having, what do you call it? Those big crossover events that lots of television shows have.
Yeah, or the comics.
In the same universe.
Yeah. So would it make sense though if you were going to do it like I just said, you have stuff happening on a planet, you have stuff happening on a station, you have stuff happening on a craft. Would it be okay to make a serial that had each episode was one of those perspectives,
where it's switching back and forth between the different things? That's like an extended novel.
I know. But if you were releasing it serially so that you were bopping around, and maybe you wouldn't always switch episode to episode, but you would switch at times, if that would even be permissible in a serial.
I don't know. It seems like that would be, especially since you can't immediately move on to read the next one, that might be very disorienting. It's not like a novel where you can just flip the page and, oh, okay, well, I'm continuing on with this other thing. Oh, I'm doing this other thing. With a serial, it's coming out with a time gap in between it. And that seems like, to me anyway, that would be problematic.
Well, I've already got a time gap with the shit I've been doing for fucking 12, 13 years.
That's not what I'm talking about. Imagine you're doing a serial and you've got group A, you drop the episode with the group A doing their thing. It's 2 days until group B does anything. And then it's another couple of days before group C does anything. By the time it rolls around, it may be a week before you get back to the first group. Are they even going to remember what they're doing at that point?
I don't know. Ask my podcast listeners.
Those poor bastards, they're already mentally incompetent. So I'm not going to go ahead and try to ask them anything.
I'm just saying that
you've broken them.
I'm just saying that for years and years and years and years and years, I think it's very rare that I have back-to-back episodes with just the same characters. Very rare.
My knowledge of serials is very limited. I have no idea whether or not something like that would work. Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's like a TV series. You've got, typical. Let's use The Expanse as an example. Especially during, I guess, the second season, where you have Avarasala on Earth and what's going on Earth, and you've got what's going on Mars, and you've got what's going on with the Rocinante, and you've got what's going on with the bad guys. And that's like 4 things they're juggling every episode. Even if it's just for a little scene, you get a spice of where you get an idea of where those people are in the general timeline of how the events are flowing. Mm-hmm. But they're constantly switching. But
during that one episode, it's a single episode.
Yeah.
It's not an episode on Mars, an episode on Earth, an episode in the asteroid belt.
No, but I'd have been okay with that. I'd have been
yes,
okay
but
with
you're
that.
Broken too.
Jesus Christ.
One thing that I have noticed in doing the series, these episodic scenes, is they're longer than my scenes tend to be in my novels. And I just noticed that the other day. I'm like, why? Why are they different? What makes them different? When I write a scene in the novel, it's usually 12 to 1,500 words. And I've been coming in 7 episodes now. One of them was as short as, I think, 1,700 words, but most of them are, the average is 2,000 words for the scene. And I'm like, why are these longer? What's different about them?
I don't know.
They can't all be set up. So there's got to be something in the style in which they're written that's different.
I think when you go back and you start maybe 6 or 7 weeks from now, after you've got enough of this stuff done, you may realize why that is. I have a feeling partially it's because you know that they're not going to be able to turn the page, that they are going to have to wait a day or two. And so you're trying to do more of the completion of the scene than you normally would, because normally you break it up a little bit more because, well, it's just them flipping the page.
You may be
that would be my guess.
Right. I have been going out of my way to make sure that each scene ends with a call to wait for that next episode, because something is hanging in the air.
Yeah. It changes how you write. It does. It absolutely changes how you write. At least for the podcast. For me, that's how I try and do it is solve the previous week's problem, or have somebody introduce a new one, or dealing with the aftermath of fixing one while we're generating a new one to end with. Just the constant churn as much as you can.
As an example, in the writing of these episodes, after the big fight was done and the consequences had rolled out for the main character, he basically obliterated himself in that fight. And the end of the scene is only a couple of paragraphs long, but he appears in a giant hall and he finds himself in the realm of death with the goddess of death sitting on the throne in front of him.
Awkward.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what he thought too.
Then you end the scene.
Then I end the scene.
Yeah, because you're a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes
and yet you say all these horrible things about me. Fuck you, buddy. You know exactly what this is. You know exactly that you were going to do it. You know what happens when you write a thriller or a suspense book? You twerp.
It's true. Romeo, tell them it's true. Oh, come here, Romeo. Oh. Romeo says, I was going to come up and get my lobes now.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where Shadow went. There's actually no telling where he is.
Romeo has decided that every day he wants to come up and get some lobes.
Oh, well, good for him. They're good for him.
Considering that he's not been a hug dad sort of cat, I like it.
Yeah. It's always good. I have
decided to do something untethered with this story. And I set up all kinds of stuff in the scenes leading up to this. While he has appeared in the halls of the goddess of death, his actions during the fight will have untethered her behavior from what it was before. I'm not going to have her as evil. I'm going to have her be his mentor.
Yeah, you mentioned that, I think, last week. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Playing with expectations is going to be fun.
Ah, yeah, that's always good too. Wait, we're about to be eaten by the such and such. It comes over, drops the stick in front of you.
Hello.
Take up stick, throw stick, animal goes, destroys everything to get stick, comes back, brings it back, licks you, and you're like, I don't think it's dangerous.
It's an ogre. It's an ogre. Oh my God, it's an ogre. Hello. How are you?
Just stopping by.
I intentionally made the commentary earlier on in the story about how the game world that the company created did not have things like slavery.
Okay.
Not even the bad guys in the game world practice slavery.
But
it's something that the game company decided had no place in entertainment. And so they made it so that not even the scummiest of NPCs did slavery. And they do similar things to sexism. The culture inside the society is going to be that way. And I decided it was going to carry over to races as well. So while there are bad orcs, there may be good orcs.
Okay,
while
so
there
alignment.
Are bad ogres, there may be good ogres.
So alignment is not species oriented.
None of this is going to be. I'm not going to lump any group as all something.
I always like that better with worlds with multiple races, multiple species, multiple sentient species.
Good orcs, bad orcs, good elves, bad elves, good dwarves, bad dwarves.
Right. Everything needs to have. You have to have more shades to it. It has to. It can't just be one thing or the other.
And having the main character have to figure out how to deal with that is going to be fun.
How do you spot a friendly versus somebody who's trying to stab you in the back or is going to kill you on sight?
If you see a group of goblins out in the wild, you can't just attack them. You don't know if they're good or they're bad. You need information.
But that also goes the other way, which is you don't know if you're going to get ambushed or not.
It's true. It introduces a lot of uncertainty and a lot of opportunity for interesting role play.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Let the backstabbing begin. Oh, we picked up this thing along the way, or this human, and turns out that human's really an evil human who's working with in cahoots with the evil orcs. But then you find an orc who's friendly, who recognizes the human as having wandered with them, and then battle the who's who and what's what and who's responsible for this, that, and the other. Epic fight. Everybody gets wounded. Question still isn't answered. The innocent one runs for his life while the guilty one is actually rattling them to go chase the innocent one. It's all good stuff, man. I am asking, or posted for my patrons, a question about that was basically, what do you want next? We could do things like, there's all this stuff that I'm working on, blah, blah, blah. Would you guys want a serial story. And I made the comment that no audio. That got pushback.
I'm sure it did, but it falls to the category of how much time do you think I have?
Well, which puts me in an interesting position, because if would it be worth it if say I drop 2 episodes a week and they're short, each one's short. It's as long as it is. And I don't have the slew of sound effects and things like that I do. Then you're talking, 15 to 45 minutes recording, getting it polished, doing that twice a week. If that brought in more patrons, then it pays for itself.
Here's what I would do. I think your answer needs to be no audio unless it proves to be successful enough, either through people reading it on Vela or an increase in the number of patrons, or a combination of the two. There has to be a milestone. If you want audio, you need to bring more eyes to this.
I had to find more ways to make cash. I need to find more ways to get content that people want to pay for, either through Patreon or, buy me a coffee or whatever the fuck it is. So, I mean, there's onus is to write.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is what I do. I write books. I record them. I podcast them. I sell them. That's what I do. I've been making most of my money off audio for, 12 years now. I don't think that's going to change.
Is there a different level in your Patreon for audio versus getting the text?
Folks at $10 get the audiobooks when they're finished.
Okay. So there is a higher bar for the audio.
Yeah, there's a higher bar. But, at the $2 level, you get the podcast episodes early, 1 week early.
Well, I think that maybe,
but still, that's not much.
Here's something that I'm going to put out to you. You have fun doing the podcast episodes. That's great. It doesn't bring you money. For the serial, don't do a podcast episode for it. It's only going to be available in audio on Patreon.
Well, that was the deal, right? And that was the deal. If I was going to do a serial, that would be Patreon only, or some kind of subscription.
If they want to have the audio of that, then they're going to have to pony up.
Right, and they can't get the words without being on Patreon or being on Vela or something similar to that. So yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You've got to start looking at your bottom line. Is what I'm doing going to make me some money? Because
I know
you enjoy the hell out of doing the podcast, but it eats up your creative time that could be earning you money. Just going to say.
I'm going to agree with that completely. But the other part of that is it's getting mentally refocused. That's part of all of this. So, I mean, I've been in this dead period while waiting for the patrons to finish Trident, which they have, another 7 days to get beta reader comments to me. So I've been in a dead period where I'm working on other stuff and getting ready for the onslaught, because as soon as I turn this into Sever Press, I got to start recording like a motherfucker. In fact, I got to get episodes ready for this Friday's podcast because I'm out of content. So I got to get it recorded. I'm going to just throw it at the patrons as I get it done, and have them be the QC until I get the book done. But hopefully next week. This week's fucked. But hopefully
people listen to you on the podcast. What's your listenership?
I don't know what it is week to week. I'd have to go. I haven't looked at the stats in quite a while.
Just ballpark it. I'm not looking for a specific number.
I have, I think, 2,000 subscribers, maybe more. I think more, actually. I think there are more than that. And that's not counting YouTube. So YouTube, I get for every episode lately, I've been getting like 200 per week, but that's per episode. So it's not just the episode I just put out. That's the episode that's getting the highest number of views, and then there's others. So I think at any one time I've got maybe 1,000 people checking out my various episodes that are up on YouTube.
I wish there was an easy bit of advice to drive them into monetization.
There is. It's Paul. It's whether Paul will do it.
What is it?
Well, there's a couple ways. If I chose to do monetization, and I would have to look at this on YouTube, I could make it so that you have to be a subscriber, a paying subscriber to the channel to get access to the content. You can do that. I don't know all the rules.
I had no idea you could do that, but okay.
Yeah, you can do that. It's relatively new. YouTube is scrambling to try and figure out a way to fight with Patreon because the way like we're doing, right? We're using a private video, and then after that we upload a public video and all this other kind of stuff. Well, they want to be involved in that process, and they want to make sure you stay on their system. They don't want you to basically be somebody else to be monetizing it for you.
Okay.
So they're trying.
What are your other options then?
The other options would be to go full sellout and allow commercials on the channel. And I'm just dead set against doing that. Absolutely dead set.
Then just scratch that one right off the list.
Yeah.
I think that taking your podcast channel in the future to saying, if you want to continue getting the podcasts, you're going to have to kick in $5 a month. It's going to drop the number of people that are listening to you, but is that going to hurt your bottom line? And I don't think so.
At this point, everything that I'm seeing now that Apple Podcasts has jumped in and they're now doing some kind of subscription model, and so is Spotify, and everything is so fucked up right now. I can't even figure out what the hell's going on anymore, or how anything works anymore, or even how to sign up for anything anymore. Audible has podcasting section. You do this and blah, we do this, that, and the other. But there's a rights thing over here you need to worry about. And then there's this thing over here that's got this, that, and the other. But then there may be a rights catch over here. And then fuck. And none of them work the same way. None of them charge the same way. None of them have any fucking thing in common. I have control over here. I don't have control over here. What the fuck is control over here? It's just like, it's a nightmare. We almost need a clearinghouse just to handle the fucking subscription models.
It's not going to happen because if you look at the way video subscription models like Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, and all of these other things, they are just bursting onto the scene, everybody competing against everybody else. There is not going to be a clearinghouse. It used to be, I'll just get Netflix and I'll watch all this stuff.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. For me, the writer, I would like to go to something like Drafted Digital and say, handle these 4 fucking subscription models for me.
You're talking an aggregator.
Yeah, I need an aggregation. I need an aggregator. I need an aggregator handle all that shit for me. Maybe I should start coding.
That may come in the future.
I think it will. I think it will. I think Drafted Digital and things like that, where they've done the various conversions that you can do. I don't see why there's any reason why you couldn't have a dashboard that does that, all that shit for you.
No,
or takes all the complexity out. Because I mean, that's what Libsyn is doing. You know, you basically say, okay, I want to go to these 9 channels. You do the configurations. After that, you don't have to touch a damn thing. It just happens. It's magic.
It's coming. It'll happen one of these days.
Yeah, it will. It will. What I got to do is get Trident done. So we're finito. That is over. Probably what I'll do with the tie-in books that I'm going to work on for the patrons, I don't know that I'm going to podcast those at all. I don't know that I'm going to podcast them at all. They may be Patreon only, and that will pay for them being written. And then I will put them out as books and audiobooks.
Or if you are podcasting them, do that under the subscription model.
Right. Anybody who is paying for it is going to get it. What I'm saying is on the free podcasts.
So with YouTube subscription, can you put out things that are not covered by this prescription, like a couple of episodes to lure them in?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Then I am wholeheartedly saying that is the way you should go.
Which is also something that 2 jackasses for DRS could do. bottom line is there's some options here that weren't there a while ago. And like I said, the problem is the subscription models for everybody is in flux right now. And nobody can figure out what in the fuck is going on.
The people that want to know that need to know what's going on in Paul E. Cooley's universes, they'll pay that subscription. If it's $5 a month, that's a deal at the price.
Yeah, it is. It is. I've been told that many times. If you're getting content, 2-3 times a week for serials and things like that, I think you're getting more than your money's worth.
The people on Patreon that are paying $10 for it are paying not only for the privilege of getting audio, but the privilege of getting it early.
Yes, they get the audiobook before anybody else. They get the podcast before anybody else. They get the ARC before anybody else, and
so
they are
$10 for Patreon versus $5 for YouTube. Makes sense. If you're only wanting to hear the audio, you don't mind being 2 weeks a month behind everybody else, you rock yourself out. Rock yourself out.
There's a variety of things that can get done. I just got to get through a couple other things I have to get done. I got to move to a new WordPress provider for various reasons. I have to get my website refreshed and ready for Derelict release because I need that to be the first thing on the page. And I need to clean up a shit ton of links. And now I got people going, hey, where did this podcast go? I can't find it anymore. Where is it? Well, how the fuck should I know? It fell off the feed. Leave me alone. So I have to go generate feeds for that.
Keep talking. I'm going to go let Screamer in and take care of a quick bit of business, but I can hear you. Okay,
that terrifies me. I'm glad you don't have a mic so I can hear you when you're taking a dump.
I was not going to do that.
That's what he says now. So I got to get the website fixed up. Then I got to figure out where all the places are I'm going to sell the audiobook. Then I have to decide if I'm going to sell Trident as its own thing from my site, or if I'm just going to say, fuck it, you can't buy Trident anywhere but Amazon, or Audible rather. But, however, you can get the entire goddamn shooting match, all 4 books, however many hours of content that is, for $25. Something like that. And that would subsidize a lot. That would go a long way. I'm perfectly okay with that. There's been plenty of people who said, I want to buy the whole thing from you. I'm ready to buy the whole shooting match when it's done. Music to my ears. But that's going to take time too, because I got to dig through and find some places where there might be an error or two and correct those. And that's a lot of audio to go through. It's a lot of audio. Holy shit. And I haven't looked at the master files for the first 3 books first 2 books in quite a while. I don't even know what condition they're in. I mean, who the hell knows? It could have a hard drive crash somewhere. I have no clue.
Let's hope not. That would be awful.
It would be awful. It'd be very bad. It'd be very, very bad.
BookFunnel does audio.
They do. Excellent.
I've listened to a book on BookFunnel's audio. It works just fine. It's a great player. It is something that you can use for what you're talking that doesn't involve exclusivity with Audible.
Excellent. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. It's stuff like that, right? So you have to kind of figure out exactly how you're going to do things and all of that. And I got to spend time doing it. The cool thing about BookFunnel and whatnot is I have a feeling that most of those providers, it will be available within a week, and we won't have to wait to 7 to 8 months with Audible. I
suspect if you're using BookFunnel, it's going to be available the moment you upload it.
But not on Amazon.
I don't think that has an approval process. I haven't uploaded audio to it, but when I upload a book to it for use, as soon as I click, here it is. Oh, there it is.
Audio may have. It may have. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, that's probably what I'm going to switch to, something like that, or draft to digital or whatnot. Regardless, though, it's just a matter of getting everything set up for it's time for Cooley to go whore himself so he can make some money. So I gotta put on my cocktail dress and stick my sexy leg out, show some leg, and say, "Please, don't you want some of this?"
Screamer says, "Wubbers."
Oh, look on that cat's face is priceless. It looks so horrified.
She's like, "No, Dad, no."
Oh, the cats. It just never ends with the fucking cats.
Yeah, but if you could hear her purring now.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt she's purring. Wow.
She likes it.
Yeah, huh?
No, Dad, no huggies.
He can rub my belly and pet me, but no huggies. So that's how you get rid of the cat. Got it. Now I'm aware of these things.
Once you've had enough cats, you learn the secrets.
Ah, yes. Well, that is the theory anyway. That is the theory. So yeah, monetization and options and getting word out and all of that crap has got to get done. It's got to get done like quick. And I've got my nephew's graduating on Thursday, so I'll be in freaking Pearland Thursday night through Friday afternoon. Then I have to drive back to the Woodlands after my RTMS appointment. Then I have to start things again. So I'm going to lose basically 2 days of productivity this week already.
How far do you have to drive for your RTMS treatments?
45 minutes each way, minimum.
You want to borrow my microphone and recorder so that you can try, recording audio?
I was actually going to hook my Zoom up and see what that would do. It's interesting though, because the first time I went ahead and listened to some dark ambient on my way down instead of anything else, and the whole time I was just basically kind of talking to myself, and not story wise, but just doing usual thought exercises and whatnot. And it was actually kind of refreshing. It was almost like meditating, except I was actually paying attention to the road. I think. I think. Maybe not.
Let me suggest you try something. While you don't own Dragon Naturally Speaking, you can use it. It's a monthly subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Try a monthly subscription Dragon Anywhere and try it.
That's the one that transcribes, right?
It transcribes, but it's connected to the interwebs.
Right. So
people can. There's an app on the phone where you can use it. I haven't used the Dragon Anywhere app, so I don't know how it works. But from what I understand, you should be able to go ahead and start it up before you're driving. Have a microphone connected to it and go to town on it while you're driving, and see what you come out with. You're going to be doing this for 6 weeks. Maybe you can. Get something.
Yes, and that was one of the things I was going to do. The only real issue is that, with me anyway, is that might work on the drive there, and the drive home not so much. Literally brain rattled after treatment. First time I walked out of there, I was wired for sound. Friday, I was not wired for sound. Friday, I was like, I just want to go lay down somewhere and die. I came home and I took a nap. That was a rough day. I went home and took a nap. It was not good.
Yeah. Sounds like you can do it on the phone. So you might be able to use that 45-minute drive up there.
I actually was thinking about starting a Dragon Anywhere Dictate, and there's live subscribe. What is this? Okay. I'll look at it.
Something to consider. When I go out and walk and use it, I have to go ahead and bring the audio file back, and it's not as effective as when I'm doing it on the computer.
In front of the computer, yeah.
In front of the computer. But I suspect if you're using the Dragon Anywhere app, it'll be more accurate than what I was doing with going through the two-step process.
Okay.
If you don't have a good portable microphone, I'd be happy to meet up with you and let you borrow mine. Stop yelling at me, cat. Because you'll want something that you can use that does not interfere too much while you're driving.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a pair of earbud or the headphone mic, the headset that comes with an iPhone. You basically just use that, I would think. Yeah.
This is a 2 ounce, or less than 2 ounce boom microphone that it cost about $150, and it is very accurate with Dragon. Very accurate.
Yeah, I really want to get one of those Lavalier mics.
I've got one, and I started with it, and it wasn't nearly as good as this. So on Kevin McLaughlin's advice, I bought this one.
Okay, that's the one all right. That's the one okay, gotcha. I think I put that down somewhere. I put it in my Amazon cart. I can't remember. But it's something I'll try.
Rather than you spending $150 to try it out, if you would like to go ahead and borrow this and give it a go, we can meet up and I will go ahead and let you borrow it for the next 6 weeks and give it a test drive. Stop trying to eat my microphone, you little cat. Dang cats.
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot today with my earbuds. Wow, somebody must be dangling something that looks like string.
Pretty much. It fell off my lap, so I'm trying to fold it back up and put it back in the case.
Uh-huh. How's it working for you?
Screamer is trying to help me.
No, she's not. That didn't look like helping at all. That looked like exactly the opposite of helping.
Try it with the micro. You said you're using the microphone that come with your iPhone.
Yeah.
I have no idea how accurate it's going to be, but if that doesn't work out, I'll be happy to let you try that. And I've got the other kind of microphone. I've got one of those around here as well that I'll be more than happy to give you.
I'll test it and see what it does. Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
So I've got stuff. We were already talking about meeting up for lunch, so I've got things that I can pass along if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah. Now you won't have to drive all the way up north. You're just going to have to drive partially up north. My RTMS is 59 and 610. 59. Yeah, 59 south and 610. Not too.
Is that closer to me than you? I'm trying to figure out trying to figure out if that's actually closer to me than you than your house.
I know. It's almost 6 of one and half dozen the other, and yet not quite, because you don't have to go far north, but you do have to go west.
Like I said, we're way overdue for a lunch in any case.
We are.
So I don't mind driving up there and having lunch with you at some point and letting you use the big mic here for a test drive. I'm not using it right now, so it's not gonna harm me at all.
Well, I'll try it out. I'll try it out today with the headset and see how it does. Because I was thinking the same thing. If I could figure out a way to get like even 1,000 words dictated, written, whatever.
Allow me to assure you that you're going to do far more than 1,000 words.
That would be nice.
When I am recording and not trying to correct it here on the computer, I'm getting 80 to 90 words a minute. And I'm not exactly talking really fast because I'm still thinking about what I'm going to be saying.
Right.
And even when I'm, just blathering away and going to town and I've got things to fix, it still ends up averaging 50 or 60 words a minute. So you could do the math there. If you if you drive 45 minutes to get there and you're talking your story while you go, how many words is that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how my brain does.
It's at least an interesting experiment that you can try with yourself.
No, I got nothing to lose by doing it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do it. It just was like, we've been talking about this forever. It's like, well, now I have no excuse to do it. I now have a compelling reason to do it. So
I know of one person that does his writing while he's driving. He intentionally goes on road trips so he can write.
Wow.
That's his thing.
I'd love to be able to do that, because I could probably write an entire fucking book on my way from here to Colorado. It's a 17-hour drive, man. It's like, one 12-hour session followed by a 5 or 6 hour session. Yeah, I could probably write most of a book in that time.
When I was going out and walking, I would walk for 40, 45 minutes, and I would end up with 3,000-ish words by the time I was done with that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So 45 minutes, 3,000 words. Smells to me like 20,000, 30,000 words in a week there, pal, if you're having to go to this all the time.
Well, I'd love to be able to write like 2 novels while I'm doing this, and, basically come back and just have to throw them into the editing pile and go on and write another one. That would be awesome. If that happens, I'm fixing my bike immediately, and I'm going to start exercising for 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. Let's see, Mr. Cooley, your depression's gone, your bipolar is in remission, and you've lost 30 pounds, and you look great. Yeah, and I've also written 7 books this year. Oh.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your editing if you're going to go ahead and start riding a bike while you're doing it. And then character did this, and then, fuck you, what do you think you're driving for like that, you son of a bitch? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then back to the novel.
Exactly right. What's worse is you're going to see on nextdoor.com, strange long-haired man talking to himself is riding bike through the trails. Be on the lookout. Might be dangerous. Of course, the good thing is they'll think you're on the phone. But if you're saying something off the wall, they hear it. I bet there's going to be a lot of questions.
I think I'm going to drink their blood. I think I'm going to kill them. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sure, that's going to work out well for you. I'm doing science fiction. I'm not going to get in any trouble. You're going to get in trouble.
Walking by the old lady and walking her dogs, talking about how the creature's ripping through the chest and blood spurting everywhere. And she's going to be like, what the hell?
And then there was the sound of frying bacon.
The kindergartner walking with his mom. Mommy, I'm scared.
Terrifying the neighborhood. Paulie Cooley since 2021.
Interview with Paulie Cooley. How many times you had the cops called on you? You don't want to go there.
Mr. Cooley, we've had another report.
We got another report. We really like the fact that you're an artist and you're right, but you're scaring the shit out of people by wandering around saying the things you're saying. I think I've already got that rep on my block. Thank you very much.
I can't wait to hear how it works out for you. I think it'll actually be something that is life-changing for you. When I went to dictation, it changed my life in writing. It seriously did.
The one bonus I can see from it is if you can't say the words, they can't scare you. If that makes any sense at all.
No, but I'll accept that it's true. No, I'm being utterly serious.
It must be nice to be you and not have any issues and just be able to roll on without anything affecting you, which we all know is bullshit.
Well, I don't have fear of my words anyway. That's not one of the problems that I have. But I can understand where other people might.
There's always, and we talked about this, and you've argued that you just have to be able to put down the next word, even if it's the wrong word.
Oh, you're not talking fear of the words. You're talking fear of the blank page.
That's part of it, but that's also that word. There's that word you're looking for.
I thought you were talking about the things you were talking about were personally something that were an issue with you that you had a fear of, like you were talking clowns and you're afraid of clowns. I thought you were talking that kind of fear. No,
not that at all. Not that at all. That's a completely different issue that we'll get into at some other point. If you get a bunch of horror writers together who are used to writing just like horrific scenes of violence and you know, terrifying stuff and everything, and you start asking them questions about that, about whether or not they feel bad about what they wrote, or whether or not they madly cackle while they write it and then feel bad about it afterwards. I think
if you got a room full of horror writers together, it would look like a knitting club. All these nice old ladies, all these really cool guys. Oh no, they're just so nice. They would never hurt anybody.
Actually, that's pretty close to the truth. I haven't met a horror writer yet who's like a total dick. I just haven't. Now, granted, I haven't met all that many, but still, it's just they just seem like to be the nicest people ever. I don't know why, but they are. It's just there's something about that genre that it just makes no goddamn sense.
They get their nasty out another way.
Yeah, they get their nasty out the other way. But I think it also has to do with I mean, look at how much fun we have with horror and the corniness, right? And the humor factor that's rubbing up against the ultra violent. You know, you have these campy movies which are fun to watch because they're so ridiculously violent. Dale and Tucker versus Evil. That just has some of the grodiest, nastiest scenes, and you're laughing your ass off when they happen. Because it's not taking itself seriously. It knows it's reveling, and it's reveling in it the right way, as opposed to the wrong way. It's not about what you see, it's about what happens and the expressions of people afterward. Give you a for instance. There's a guy chasing another guy. They're running from the same thing. They don't know each other. Each one of them thinks the other is trying to kill them. They're running along, and they end up looking side by side, and one of the guys is about to go get the other guy, and he rams right into a tree branch, and it spears him. Just shit like that. You're just like, "Wah!" That genre has that in every scene. There is a capability for that kind of stupidity. And we choose to either go for it full tilt, or we decide to just kind of mix it in when appropriate. Because the best, I personally, if I manage to make you smile while you're also going, ew, and you make that sound, then I've done my job. I've done my job. I've done it well. And that's what's fun. That's what's fun about this genre. It's not just, it's not reveling in the gore. It's how to make it so that it makes you have that reaction, but at the same time, you're grinning at it. I think that's just the best way to do it.
I think that's great to be able to do that.
That's fun. It's fun when you pull it off. It is fun.
When I started writing the serial, I expected it to slow down my writing because now I'm adding extra words to my plate. Contrary to that, I found that I've been more productive than writing the novel by itself.
It's because it's not a novel, it's a scene.
No, I meant total words. I'm still writing as much as I was writing on the novel before, and I've still written 7 episodes of this.
Oh,
in addition to that.
I see what you mean. Yeah, because this is a different process. It is about writing and finishing the scene.
But you're not understanding. I'm not writing one singly. I'll write 2 scenes in the novel.
Yes.
And then I'll write an episode of the serial.
Right.
I can't get to the next episode of the serial unless I finish the 2 scenes in the novel.
Oh.
So my production on the novel is increased in tempo, not even counting the extra time and words I'm spending on the episodes.
Okay, that's what you're saying. All right. Sorry, I was confused. It was phrased awkwardly for my little brain to understand.
But yeah, I did it that way because I didn't want to get roped into just doing one and feeling like I was ignoring the other. So to reward myself, I don't have to write 2 scenes of the novel and then the other in a day. I write 2 scenes in the novel, then I may write an episode of the serial, and then I can go back. That's
kind of what I want to do with Red. I get to do a couple of scenes of red, or have to do a couple of scenes of red, and then it'll be time to go do something else. So I've got multiple projects, and that's kind of the way I'm going to try and slay that dragon too.
It's working surprisingly well for me. I didn't think it was going to work that well at all, because I thought, oh, I'll just keep getting derailed. I'll have my brain in one project, and then I'll be trying to switch to the other one, and it's going to be awkward. It has not proven to be the case.
Ray Bradbury, and I know I've said this before on this show, if you go watch interviews with him, and he, what he would do is he would be in the middle of a short story and it would die on him, or novella or whatever, and it would die on him. So, and this was back in the days of typewriters. So he would take the typewritten pages, throw it in the folder, and throw it in his in progress file cabinet. So he'd be working on another story and it would die on him. He would grab it, take it, throw it in the dead letter file, so to speak, and then immediately grab a folder out of it. Didn't matter which one. And then he would read it. And then he would start writing again on that story until the same thing happened again. What he said was when he got into the habit of doing that, he ended up finishing more stories than not. Because it forced him to come back to it. Literally forced him to come back to it because it was the habit. And as soon as he finished something before he started something else, something new, he would go and grab another story out of there. And that's how he would just keep going. And I like that idea a lot. I have a lot of works in progress in various states of construction, so to speak. But I have a book I've more or less sold to Sever Press that I actually have to write. I got to finish some more stuff up for the patrons on Soul and Beyond and Derelict Saga. There's 2 more books related to Soul and Beyond that are on the plate. There's QPD. There's Signal Decay. There's the 2 subsurface ocean books I want to write. And there's the serial we could do that takes place in Soul and Beyond. Not to mention the short stories I'm writing. I got a few things in the dead letter file. I don't think I need to bring anything new into it. It's going to have to be, okay, go pick something up and go work on it. Because you don't have that excuse that, oh, I can't figure out what to do here. Go pick up another fucking file and go work on it.
I found that if I have a full day of writing time available, that I can write a chapter of the novel and an episode of the serial without too much difficulty, including the read-through editing time that I need to give it. Those do require a full day from me, but that's 4,000, 4,500 words in a day. And so today I wrote 2,000 words before the show, and I'll go ahead and edit it when we're done. And that's my half day.
I'm trying to do, if I run out of steam, or even if I'm in the middle of just kicking some ass, I may, after 20, 25 minutes, just get up and go get some water, go check on the dog, and then wander back, or, maybe go do a chore or two, come back, and then immediately sit down and just continue as if I never left. And I'm getting really good at it.
I was trying to do that, and it didn't work out nearly as well as I would like. So now I'm just sitting until I'm done with the scene, and that's working out better than the other for me.
It just depends on what day it is, because there are days, and you know how this works. You sit down and suddenly it's like 2 hours go by and you're like, what the fuck? Where have I been? Well, I've been writing. And there's other days where it's like every 15 minutes, something interrupts you. Every single 15 to 20 minutes. So I decided to just go ahead and give into the fucking chaos and try and just carve out 25 minutes at a time. I'm going to try and do the same thing with recording, because that'll help me
find out that
shit.
If you're recording, i.e. you're heading, well, not recording there, but if you're doing dictation, I should say, while you're out and about, the interruption scheme will be broken.
Yes, I'm sure it will be. It's just a matter of figuring out how to get back into the routine and getting back to work. Because it's just, I work from home. There's always going to be distractions. Always. And
you need a shed out back where you can go work.
Well, if I can ever get enough money to fix the back fucking deck, then I'm going to have a table out there. I've got power already set up. All I will have to do is pick up a laptop and one monitor, go out there, and I can go to town. Do whatever I need to do. Of course, that would require it to stop raining too, Which,
yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Over this next week.
Yeah, we're no longer in drought conditions. We're now in holy shit that we have a lot of water conditions.
The trees are certainly liking this.
Oh yeah, I can practically hear the fucking things growing in my backyard. So much fun. Anyway, I've got new stuff coming that has to get done. So
I want to hear next week how the dictation works out for you, because I think it's going to be an interesting experiment.
I'm looking forward to it, because it would also help me if I've got insomnia and I just can't use my eyes. My eyes don't work anymore because they're too tired. I feel like when you feel like the Sandman has blown diamond dust in them, it might be time to close your damn eyes. So I'm already figuring out how to make that work. Oh boy. All right, should we end this puppy?
We should end this puppy.
All right. Well, if you have a comment you would like to if you'd like to send it,
come on now, you can do it, man. You can do it.
If you have a comment regarding the vile garbage we talked about during this episode, you can send an email to show at deadrobotsociety.com. You can tweet me. I know, train wreck. You can tweet me at Paul_E_Cooley. Fuck you, Terry. You can join us on Facebook and the Listeners Dead Robot Society Facebook group that Terry moderates. We have to thank our wonderful host, pod host, for making all 14 bazillion episodes of Dead Robot Society available for your ear holes. I hate you so much, Terry. You can find us at youtube.com/DRS podcast to see our ugly mugs and, oh my God, so many cats. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to live shows. Speaking of, we'll need to have one of those very soon.
I am available.
And at the $10 level, you get your name read every episode. And our $10 patrons are Summer Wilson, Tony L. Joy, Andrew Smallwood, Veronica Jaguar, Rick Shaw, Chris Winder, and Isabel Cushy. Thank you very much to all of our patrons for supporting the show. You have no idea how much it helps. And with that, we are out of here. Terry, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you, man. Hope your next week is a little less chaotic than this one.
Oh, shit. All right. We'll see you later, folks.
Bye-bye.